Mr. Michael Shaney, Chairman, National Australia Bank, Level 3, 800 Burke Street, Docklands, Victoria, 3008. Dear Mr. Shaney, I refer to my 6th of January 2013 letter to Mr. Cameron Klein. That was copied to you. It stated that NAB told customers their code or banking practice was a contract. This is consistent with the 5th of November 1993 media statement by Mr. Don Argus that the bank has repeated on many occasions since. On the 14th of January 2013, I wrote to the NAB directors requesting the bank withdraw from all proceedings against us until its misleading conduct resulted from the changed terms and non-disclosure in the code were investigated by the bank or dealt with in the court. It is noted that the directors failed to reply. For the record, on the 1st of October 2004, we signed the NAB contract. 6 months earlier, on the 31st of March 2004, the bank noted its financial services license number 230686 version 1 and published a statement what I should do if I have a complaint. It said that if a customer has a complaint about a service, tell us. We sent complaints to the bank in 2010 that were not investigated, nor did we receive a copy of any report, yet the bank commenced proceedings against us in 2012 to secure our property. Also in 2012, we read the Small Business Council's submission 90 attachment 1, the Australian Bankers Problematic Code. The Parliament published the submissions in December 2010 and named NAB directors, stating that they relied on a strategy of denying everything using CU in court practices because only the very wealthy people could defend their rights in the court. The paper explained how the NAB had no intention of complying with its contracts. I therefore restate recent complaints and request the NAB directors instruct the bank to investigate all allegations, including that number 1. In 2012, the National Australia Bank directors intentionally or recklessly allowed its CEO to breach its bank customer contract when it failed to investigate all the priestly complaints. Since number 2, since 20th of February 2004, the bank changed the terms in its contracts, which meant farmer NAB contracts and small business NAB contracts were non-contracts and non-binding. 3. The NAB and other signatory banks instructed their managers and lawyers to change bank customer contracts from the courts because the court's rights might not hear their cases. 4. The NAB and signatory bank directors and their representatives required customers to sign bank contracts when they knew or should have known the conduct might be fraudulent. 5. The NAB and other signatory bank CEOs were members of the Code Compliance Monitoring Committee Association that relied on the CMC's constitution to conceal contract breaches. 6. According to Mr. Wilkie's press release, there have been 2.5 million bank complaints since 2004, suggesting complainants suffered damages due to signatory banks concealing corrupt practices. 7. Since 2004, the Code Compliance Monitors' conduct was dishonest and their actions corrupt by allowing customers to believe that they will investigate any allegation a bank breached the code. Eight, since 2004, the ABA's conduct was dishonest and its actions corrupt by publishing untruthful statements and allow the public to believe the signatory banks must comply with the code. 9. In 2012, the NAB instructed lawyers to attend the court and keep from His Honourable Justice Peter Garling allegations that since 2004 signatory banks had not complied with customer contracts. In 2013, we believe the National Australia Bank's directors intentionally or recklessly allowed the bank to instruct its lawyers and staff to secure our farm without investigating our complaints beforehand. There may be little we can do about the National Australia Bank misleading customers, including us. However, we may be able to do something about the bank cheating and taking away from its contractual rights. We request NAB take no action until allegations of misleading conduct resulting from changed contractual terms and non-disclosure are fully investigated or dealt with by the court, and the legislation has been addressed in the Parliament. We seek your immediate reply prior to this matter escalating on 31st of January 2013. Yours sincerely, Chris Priestley. The second letter. Mr. Michael Cheney, Order of Australia Chairman, National Australia Bank, Level 3, 800 Burke Street, Docklands, Victoria, 8001. Dear Mr. Cheney and National Australia Bank Directors, I am writing a letter that I intend publishing to advise you that your National Australia Bank representative, Mr. Peter Mayer, attended our property at Walgett yesterday with 2 sheriffs, 2 security guards and locksmiths. They bullied us and required that we leave, or they would return with the police, despite you having copies of all the information that we provided to the directors of the bank, which include serious complaints the directors refused to answer. These included serious allegations the directors misled us and that all National Australia Bank customers about a secret contract it has relied on us on for 9 years that enables the bank to take financial advantage over your customers. Of practical concern, I read a letter to Mr. Mayor out loud from the start to the end that we sent you dated 30th of January 2013, and it was received by you and National Australia Bank prior to its invasion of our property yesterday. This letter put you on notice that you had refused to comply with its small business contract prior to seizing our property and prior to the court hearing our appeal. For the record, once again it seems the National Australia Bank breached its small business contract, which required Mr. Mayor to have adequate knowledge of the bank's small business contract. He said that he had never heard of the bank's commitment to the code, to its commitment to its code of banking practice. This is another example of how the bank believes it can ignore contractual duties, lie to its customers and disregard the law. We are publishing this letter in the hope that every National Australia Bank customer is aware of the bank's corrupt practice and rely on the axiom that might is right. And this will not work in this case because the bank's changed contract is invalid, and we intend to prove the present directors have a duty to state and that they will resign, especially as the directors have been doing this for the last 9 years. If further investigations or the court finds you signed contracts with no intention of complying with them, and thousands or hundreds of thousands of your customers relied on them. We trust you be prosecuted for fraud and breaches of consumer law, and we intend to ask the court to prescribe maximum penalties, which you may include breaches of the Crime Act. Stop all proceedings now before you take any more action against us. Hand back the keys to our family property until you prove to us the rest of the National Bank's customers that you have not lied to them or misled the court by making no reference to the problematic CMC Constitution. We'll await your immediate reply, including a commitment to investigate all complaints set in our 26 January 2013 letter, the National Australia Bank Directors.